When that wonderful tune plays, you know what's about to happen. Thank you for tuning in to this brand new Round 2 Wrestling podcast here on the 20th of September 2022. I am SlimmDa KID, and I personally want to thank you for tuning in to this brand new podcast. Several things have happened within the last week, and we have a lot to cover here on this particular episode. Lots of rumors to talk about, brand new news to go over. Bunches of titles were on the line this past week and weekend, plus a brand new Did You Know at the end of this episode. So, without further ado, let's jump right into this brand new episode of Round 2 Wrestling by taking a listen to the rumor mill. PW Insider reports everyone suspended by AEW following the All Out pay-per-view to remain suspended until the end of the third-party investigation. The black and gold NXT logo is back, according to Brian Alvarez. Triple H is also bringing back the old WCW pay-per-view Halloween Havoc for NXT. Wrestling Observer Radio's Dave Meltzer said WWE's scouting of women wrestlers can be summed up in 2 words in terms of what they're looking for. Quote, pretty gymnasts, end quote. This is sort of disturbing, but also not too far away from WWE, so this is a rumor that I believe wholeheartedly. After accusations by EC3 and Velveteen Dream, Sean Ross Sapp tweeted Dream was, quote, quietly suspended, end quote, for cocaine use during his time in WWE. So if you know anything about Velveteen Dream, apparently trouble follows this guy like a dog on a leash. Dave Meltzer mentioned this Friday's AEW Rampage is part of the Grand Slam Supercard and will be a 2-hour-long television event. According to Fightful, AEW's Revolution pay-per-view in 2023 will be held at the Cow Palace in San Francisco, California. Streaming giant Hulu's deal for next-day streaming for Raw and SmackDown episodes is about to expire per PW Insider. The two sides are still negotiating at the time of this broadcast. All right, that is the conclusion of the wrestling rumors going around in the world. Not too much to think about this week, but what there is to think about is juicy enough. Enough of the what-ifs and the maybes. We are going to jump over into pro wrestling news. AEW owner Tony Khan blasts WWE in a recent interview, calling the Northeast United States the real crown jewel of wrestling, not some BS overseas Saudi Arabia event. Tony Khan is not one to mull words, especially when it comes to his direct competition in WWE. I, for one, sympathize with Tony Khan, and am sort of against WWE going to Saudi Arabia, specifically because it's only to pad their bank. It's not for the Saudi Arabian fans. If anything, it's for Saudi Arabian royalty. And again, this is just my opinion. If you want to appeal to a larger crowd, that's totally fine. But don't mask it by saying you're doing it for the quote-unquote fans in Saudi Arabia when that is a blatant lie. Once again, I am on board with Tony Khan here, but at the same time can understand why WWE does what it does. Former WWE wrestler Velveteen Dream's court date has been canceled. The battery and trespassing case has potentially been dropped. This is good news for Velveteen Dream. However, just because the court case is dropped doesn't mean he'll be getting any work anytime soon. New Japan Pro Wrestler Kushida pulled from upcoming New Japan Pro Wrestling Burning Spirit Tour due to medical complications, including a suspected skin disease. Impact Wrestling signs a former Impact wrestler back with the promotion. Joe Hendry is back after 4 years away from Impact Wrestling. Several Impact Wrestling wrestlers will have their contracts expire soon, including a few champions. Tag champions Mike Bennett and Matt Taven's contracts are up in October, along with Maria Kanellis, all members of Honor No More. That's the faction within Impact Wrestling. No news as to whether any of these wrestlers have been offered contract extensions at the time of this broadcast. All right, that is also the conclusion of pro wrestling news. Not a lot in the world to talk about this week, apparently. But again, similar to our rumor section, what we do have is enough to think about for the next week or so. We are going to move right over and discuss all the titles that were on the lines across many, many promotions, including but not limited to WWE, NXT, AEW, Impact, and NWA. We will give you those results and who won right now. WWE United States Champion Bobby Lashley defeated Seth Rollins to retain the United States Championship. Solo Sikoa defeated NXT North American Champion Carmelo Hayes to win the NXT North American Championship. NXT Tag Team Champions Pretty Deadly defeated the Creed Brothers to retain the NXT Tag Titles. NXT North American Champion Solo Sikoa defeated Madcap Moss to retain the NXT North American Championship. AEW Tag Team Champions Swerve and Our Glory defeated Lucha Brothers to retain the AEW Tag Team titles. Ring of Honor TV Champion Samoa Joe defeated Josh Woods to retain the Ring of Honor TV title. Impact X Division Champion Mike Bailey defeated Mascara Dorada to retain the Impact X Division title. Impact Tag Team Champions, the OGK, defeated Rich Swann and Josh Alexander to retain the Impact Tag Team titles. NWA TV Champion Tyrus defeated Matthew Mims to retain the NWA TV title. All right, that concludes all the title matches that were on the line for this past week and weekend. Be sure to tune in this weekend for Impact Wrestling's upcoming pay-per-view, and be sure to tune in Wednesday and Friday for AEW Supercard at Arthur Ashe Stadium. All right, we will conclude Round 2 Wrestling with a fan favorite. Did you know? Did you know are little bits of information and facts about the wrestling world that you may or may not have known about? Did you know AEW's Andrade El Idolo was the first Mexican-born wrestler to win the NJPW Intercontinental title? Did you know Abdullah the Butcher released a disco song in Japan in the early 1980s? The song was entitled Butcher the Greatest. Did you know Cody Rhodes' first WWE match was a loss to current AEW writer Pat Buck? Did you know AEW wrestler MJF appeared on the Rosie O'Donnell show in the mid-90s when he was 5 years old? Did you know Edge has held WWE's big gold belt more than any other wrestler, winning the belt a total of 7 times? Did you know Ron the Truth Killings is the first African-American NWA heavyweight champion? Did you know Tito Santana was responsible for The Undertaker's first loss in the WWF? Did you know Ric Flair is the only Triple Crown champion in both WCW and WWF? Did you know at 51 years old, Tim Storm became the oldest NWA World Champion? Did you know the heaviest tag team in history was the McGuire twins, weighing in at a combined, and this is astonishing, 1,468 pounds. These are the plumpest, roundest, fattest wrestlers you have ever seen. And to look at them on a picture is comparable to Violet Beauregard from the cult classic Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. All right, that is the conclusion of Round 2 Wrestling, a shorter podcast this week, but we will be sure to bring you more news, more results, and more Did You Know facts in our next episode next Tuesday. Be sure to tune in to that Tuesday evening. I also want to take the time to let you fans know that UCW has been handpicked by Impact Wrestling for their digital championship match of the week. Even though it wasn't a championship match, it was a championship caliber match. UCW's first pay-per-view featured a triple threat match, and that is Impact's match of the week featuring such wrestlers as Ace Storm and Tuit Rahu. Be sure to tune in to Impact on YouTube and check out that match for yourself, and you will get a feel for what it is like to be inside the UCW arena for yourself. Once again, I am SlimmDa KID, and I personally want to thank you for tuning into this brand new Round 2 Wrestling podcast. Once again, please tune in next week for a brand new episode where I will bring you more news, more rumors, and more results from the world of professional wrestling. Round 2 Wrestling is brought to you by SlimmDa KID and Spreaker.com.